Is the mic working?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You're always going to be coping with some level of anxiety because as a writer, you're not necessarily responding to demand. You're not an employee. You're not a small business owner providing donuts or car washes. You're a leader saying, I have this vision that this novel needs to be written or this memoir needs to be written, and you may or may not find a response to that now or in the future or in the marketplace. Maybe someone will appreciate what you've done 10 years from now or 50 years from now. You really don't know. And so it's natural that produces some anxiety. It's very natural. So I think that you'll never really get away from that if you're doing literary art. You may have a book published and it will look like once you have that, everything will be hunky-dory. But as Melissa Etheridge, I think, recently told People magazine, there's no there. You're still going to have issues. You're still going to have problems you have to deal with. Your fifth novel, you might have a hard time selling. Your agent may not get back to you. You might get a nasty review. There's always something to cope with that's just as anxiety-producing, really, as for someone who's beginning and saying, I'm going to send my first book out, or my first query, or my first short story. So coping with those things doesn't really go away, but you can get better at it. And I'll just stop here leaving this brief because I know you want to leave room for questions. But one of the things I talk about a lot in my workshops is the enormous benefit you can get from reading some of the literature on sports psychology, because it's not so different. Tennis players, basketball players, they also have to cope with anxiety for the same reasons. As a culture, we tend to think, literary artists, poets, they're all bipolar or something. But really, the nature of what you're doing as an artist is very similar to what someone does in sports. So some of the coping mechanisms can help you. And I'll just mention one of them, which if you take anything away, may it be this. CRA, consistent, resilient action. So rejection is really normal. You send your book out, nobody wants it. How do you cope with that? CRA, send it out again, start a blog, start your website, write a thank you letter, attend a writer's conference, et cetera, et cetera. So I have a lot more tips, but I'll stop here for now.